All right, ladies, gentlemen, everybody else, we're starting our first league today. We've got a deck list submission or channel point redemption for a deck list of a user's choice, and we've been submitted Golgari Infect. So let's update this on Stream Decker. Some of the notable standouts of this list, as opposed to your typical like Simic Infect list, is instead of Blighted Agent, you get cards like Plague Stinger, Phyrexian Crusader, then Thoughtseize, Fatal Push to round out this little like better against interaction package with the Crusaders, pushes, Thoughtseize. 3 copies of Gem Razor in the main, mutated onto a Glistener Elf, give it like reach, trample, not reach. Nobody cares about reach. Trample, 4/4. Keep infect, stuff like that. Blow up artifacts, enchantments. Got 4 Noble Hierarch, makes sense over the 4 Noble Hierarch because of the black. 4 Might, 4 Scale Up, 4 Vines, 2 Snakeskin Veil, as opposed to Blossoming Defense. So we'll see how that plays out. In the sideboard, 3 Veil of Summer, 2 Choke, 4 Endurance, 3 Force of Vigor, 2 Grist, and a Kitchen Finks. So, like, very, very geared towards, like, black mid-range with the Veils and the Grist, Finks, and stuff. And then Endurance for things like Living In, the Grave Hate decks. Force of Vigor for Hammer Time, for any sort of Chalice decks, stuff like that. Things like it's 2017, right? I'm about it. Like when I used to play Simic Infect, I'd play like 4 Kitchen Finks in my sideboard. It was just nutty. But that was like when Jund was really popular, so bringing a bunch of Kitchen Finks against Jund and they just kind of like stare at you. I can't beat 3/3/2s that come back. This list is provided by Connor O. No, this one isn't Connor's list. This is Misha's bauble. 5-0'd with it a week ago on Magic Online. So this has got some pedigree to it already. All we got to do is find some way to combine Infect and Death Shadow, and we'll have a perfect deck. All right, so right off the bat, we got Antoine is a notorious 4-color pile player. Or 5-color pile, whatever we're calling it. In fact, they wrote a really good write-up of the deck on Reddit. If you ever decide to go check that out. Basically talking about how the deck has like ridiculous god tier win rates. I'm tempted to keep this just because it's got like all of the setup I need. I just need to find one creature. Typically with Infect, like any hand that doesn't have an Infector, you're pretty likely to throw back. But if I find like a Phyrexian Crusader, they just can't answer, then this could be like 2 on it, 3 or 6, 7, 8, one more hit. But if I'm on the play, I think I should just be like more aggressive. It's got all the dudes I could ever need. Let's throw back Gem Razor. Or do I want to keep Gem Razor in case I need to go bigger? Let's put back Plague Stinger. They added extra options here. That's going to be annoying. Let's go. You. If they have a Fury and a pitch card, like, I am dead in the water, so. But we're not really beating Fury pitch card anyway. All I'm really hoping to do is get this Phyrexian Crusader down this next turn. So let's start by going to combat. This might be like an Ice Fang Quaddle to block. If I had a protection spell, I'd probably just suit up this Glistener Elf with a Gem Razor. But because I don't have a protection spell, I think I want to get the Crusader down. Pendlehaven's not bad. Maybe I want to mutate on the Glistener Elf. Let's Pendlehaven. Mutate. Alright, so I want to put it over Glistener Elf. And I think I'm just going to swing with both. Like, well, I guess the Gem Razor is just lethal by itself. If they like flash in another Ice Fang Quaddle and go to block, then I can might try to get the final points to trample over. All right. Game 1 in the bag. So up against a 4-color pile deck. Biggest concern is obviously like Fury. I know they don't run as many Furies anymore. Do I want Veil of Summer? Good for like counter spell, and that's like it. Choke I do want. Sphinx is probably reason. Like on the maybe side for cards like Veil. And then I don't know if they're on a Traverse heavy build, so I don't know if I want Endurance. No, I don't want Fatal Push. Gem Razor is a little meh. Gem Razor only hits like Abundant Growth. So it's pretty Abundant Growth and like make a bigger threat. And probably just board out one of my sorcery speed pump spells, like scale up. Give this a shot and see what it looks like. Can make some adjustments for game 3. Like if we find out they're more of a traverse build, I might want to look at endurance. We'll keep this. It's mulling pretty aggressively. I'd assume if they're mulling aggressively, it's like probably looking for Fury. I think I'm going to lead with Thoughtseize. Like maybe they brought in Veil of Summer against me, but Magus of the Moons. I guess they were looking for Ren pretty aggressively. So let's take that. Say go. So we're going to have to get basic forest here. Okay. Got it. It is notable that these are both islands. I wonder if they would Magus of the Moon and take themselves off of... Just hit multiple Leyline Bindings. I'm going to go crazy over this. All right. So let's just... I think I'm just getting down Grist. Is there no way to just, like, keep that on? Like, do I have to click this every single time just to yield through the turn? Dude, have they ripped back-to-back Leyline Bindings? Alright, I really just want to get down Choke here. Alright. Play you. Animate you. I think I'm just going for the damage here. You know what answers a choke? 4th Leyline Binding? Yeah. Okay. I guess. So their draws were binding into Boseiju. That's a pretty good series of draws. All right. Into Abundant Growth. So now they've got perfect mana again after their Magus of the Moon shut them off of multiple colors. Into Expressive Iteration. So they're back up to Omnath mana. I'm just going to cycle this. Hope he's staying the whole night at the casino. Right? As one does. Rip the Renin 6 off the top. We are, in fact, not running any sort of a basic swamp. You see this happening, right? Like binding into second binding into Abundant Growth, or Boseiju into Abundant Growth Expressive Iteration into Ren's second Ren. Like, I really don't know how I could, like, write this script any better. They have literally not whiffed. No whiffage is occurring. You're right. He could have had an Omnath in there somewhere. Well, at least we know Gem Razor is going to be a lot better now. All right, we're just going to scoop to 4th cast Renin 6. Or 3rd cast Renin 6. Jeez. Have to just keep Fatal Push in. Really don't want to play around Magus of the Moon. Like, that can't be more than a 1 of in their 80 card deck, right? They mold aggressively, but I'm assuming they mold for Ren, not for Magus. Choke's gonna get a lot worse when they know about it. All right. So I've got to assume turn 2, Wrenn and 6. I'll keep this. Let's go turn 1, Ink Moth. A bit punished for the Ink Moth after drawing the Ignoble. He's got the turn 2 Wrenn, and he only had to mulligan once for it. That's pretty good. Yep. What do you got? Drown, Expressive Iteration, Traverse. Double Drown in the lock. Kiyomo, what's up? Good old Ephemerate, eh? All right. Drown, Ephemerate. Heck yeah, this is pile nonsense. Drew a Solitude. So all I can really do is try to find another black source to be able to fire or cast our Phyrexian Crusader. So close. paid me to play this. Well, it was a deck point redemption or channel point redemption. Let's get some value out of this veil. Does anything weird happen if I mutate onto an ink moth? Like, is there something I should be aware of? Never mind. All right. Yeah, second black source would have been fantastic anywhere in there. But that second game was just stupid. Like, second and third leyline binding, double or triple Renin 6, abundant growth, expressive iteration, no whiffs off the top. Like, that one was rough. But Matt Courier undefeated. Matt Courier is a champ and a half. That's for sure. All right. Let's keep it. All right. Do we think our opponent is on a Renin 6 deck? Renin 6 or Rhinos? What's our guess here? I think my mother accidentally called me. Teferi? Yeah. Of course it's Teferi. Favorite Thomas story, talking about the double scale up. That's my favorite. So for anybody who hasn't heard the story, my friend Thomas, a local player here, played Infect for years, and like here in central Mississippi, we're like not here, but the southern part of like Mississippi and Louisiana, for whatever reason, is just like hotbed for Infect players. Like Aaron Barrich is from here. God, Tom. What's Tom's last name? Why can I not think of names? Yeah, Tom Ross is from South Louisiana. So it's like a pretty common archetype for people over this way. And so we're playing it like a win a car tournament in Alabama. Yes, that was the actual prize, is a car. What am I playing here? Kind of afraid to like overextend into a Wrath or something. But I guess I've got the backup Crusader. We're playing in this like win a car tournament in Alabama. And Thomas is the only one out of our group that's made day 2 of this tournament because it's like a local event and there's a day 2 to it. Whatever. That's just another Omnath deck. Got it. And so we're in day 2, or like waiting for him day 2. And he's on like this feature match late and plays against a dude on like just Mardu mid range, like god awful matchup for him. And he's got 2 scale ups in hand against his opponent. And he goes to his turn and he like has nothing else to do. So he's just like, scale up my dude. And his opponent's like, yeah. And he's like, scale it up again. And his opponent just scoops. He's at like 1 infect. And Tom's just double scale ups this creature. And his opponent's like, yeah, I'm dead. You got it. And Tom's just like shuffles up his cards, puts his box away, and goes. And we were like, you know that doesn't stack, right? And he's like, yeah. But he didn't know. They just got a free win off double scale upping some infector. He never said it was lethal. He never said it was like a 12-6 or anything. He just goes, scale up. Yeah. Scale up again. Yeah, I'm dead. All right, then. Good talk. Keeping in the Gem Razors this turn. Scale up once more for a second time, if you will. Exactly that. Just, I would like to scale up, and then I would like to scale up once more again. All right. It's a reasonable hand. We've got some interaction. Got a threat. And whatever we're considering grist. Ink Moth is pretty good. Let's take a look at what you got going on. You're not a 4-color pile. Does that mean I just want to take Teferi? Because I can choke after this Dryad? Yeah. It does mean I need to find a way to deal with this Dryad pretty quickly. Because they do just have Dryad and Valakut. And they can start hitting land drops and shooting stuff. Ah, yes. The elusive not making a land drop. But I guess I've got Boseiju, so... Something paid actor. Unless they just know that I'm going to play choke, so they're like, I'm not playing lands. Get right out of here with that bullshit. Part of me wants to just like wrist and take out this Dryad. Yeah, I probably do just need to like sack something to take out this Dryad. Pass them Boseiju when they go for a bolt. I could, but I think I just want to like. I should have attacked first, but I think I just want to kill this. And unfortunately, the attack does matter there because it means if I hit a land, I would have been able to double animate, scale up one. Have another one. Now we've gotten rid of both of our answers for them. All right, so they've got a bolt rolled up, which could be okay. See if they go to try to bolt this. Don't crack the Misty. I do appreciate that they've just like not missed land drops. Second Dryad into not like missing anything. Like, we took the high upside line of killing the first Dryad instead of, like, blowing up the Valakut, but if they just follow it up with, like, hey, I've got another Dryad and more lands. All right, green source off the top. Green source. Oh, baby. So let's go animate you. Cast scale up. They go to crack their fetch land. We kick a vines. Got there. Woo. Figure it out somehow. All right, what do we got for round 3? But I think it's it's important to point out that, like, in that situation, respond to the fetch, don't respond to the land entering in the bolt. Because if your opponent goes for like the bolt, and then you go to kick a vines, and their last, or they've got 2 open mana, and they could have another removal spell, they could have a counter spell, something like that, and you don't kill. But if you respond to the fetch, then the only thing that kills you is like a 1 mana instant there. Like, it had to be exactly a lightning bolt or a spell pierce. It's demonic tutors. The old D-toots. Wonder what they're playing. Yawgmoth. Gilded Goose. Goose, she is loose. Oh, give me a land. Give me a land. I have no idea what's going on, but I want to land. Satyr Wayfinder for what? Oh, it's Greasefang? Is it Greasefang? Land. All right. Land next turn would still be really good. Sorry, green producing land. Don't mess with me and give me another copy of Ink Moth. Probably should have just taken an Unearth instead of the Wayfinder. Black Infect, any new addition from the new set? I don't think there's anything new in this list. This one's from like a week ago. But it was a channel point redemption deck list. So I'm just kind of going with it. Got it. Green source. Damn it. All right. Bound and determined to find a land. It's not another ink moth. So I'd still be happy just like taking out a construct. It's a food deck, right? Haven't seen an Asmo yet. Food and Grease Fang. Land. Green source. Green source. Greens. Oh no, they just get Grease Fang. Okay. Maybe they're not even running Asmo. Maybe this is all just an elaborate ruse to get Grease Fang back. Alright, we'll scoop it up. Dead to the angels this leaves behind. We got some stuff to bring in. Hand looks pretty redundant against Thoughtseize effects. I want Grist. Probably do without Grist. Probably actually need to keep some Crusaders. I'm gonna assume 4 endurance is enough, like, grave hate to see it reliably. I thought about playing Shadow, like a green-black base Shadow. Maybe splash red for, like, Battle Rage, but run endurance. But just, like, instead of running uh, bolts and pretty mopey hand. I mean, it's got evasion and it kills relatively fast, especially if I find another spell. Turn 1, Asmarano, Mordekaiser, Kuldakar. Resolves. Okay. Depending on what they do this turn, I might just like hard cast this Force of Vigor next turn. Law, what's up? What you got? Okay. Pithing Needle. Name Ink Moth. Definitely pretty incentivized to just like hard cast this force now. Wait and see if he activates Cookbook first. I want to just let him have the Pithing Needle. Got like gem razors and more force and figures in the deck. So it's not like unreasonable to find another hate piece. I think I need to get rid of the Saga to keep him from getting another Cookbook. I guess I can do that and find a Cookbook. All right. Scale up off the top. That is reasonable. All right. So between a Kicked Vines and the Exalted Trigger, we've currently got a Lethal Plague Stinger. See if we can keep it that way. Cookbook. Earth and Asmo. Dogfish, yeah. Steven redeemed a channel point redemption for a deck list of his choice. I'm gonna put the fear in him here. No fear. All right. Need to find another pump spell. Wagner, what's up? Our deck of 20 pump spells can't find a pump spell. I know I boarded out like some scale ups. 3 scale ups. Someone in chat playing fantasy football. Is there? 'Cause I'm not this season. All right. How far are we from Gym Razor? Would have been fantastic. But not meant to be. All right. Let's get something better. Better matchup. Something. What do I want to see? Give me Tron. Give me Tron right here, right now. We're calling out the Karns. Turn 1 Ignoble. They play a turn 1 map. Turn 2 we Gym Razor our Ignoble. That would be hot. Well, so far this list has felt like the threats are good, but I guess it's lacking that like explosion. I mean, you're not running Blossoming Defense or Mutagenic Growth. Running Phyrexian, 4 Phyrexian Crusaders and 3 Gem Razors in the main. That's 7 3-drops essentially. The worst part is we're winning a bunch of these die rolls. So I would love to capitalize on it a little bit more. Like we win this die roll, we've got turn 1 Ignoble. We find a land, we could have turn 2 Phyrexian Crusader, but we're also up against a Yorion pile, so the likelihood of them having turn 1 interaction is extremely high. Ban the Sky Noodle. I'm fine with the Sky Noodle. They just need to ban everything that the Sky Noodle can bounce. Like, oh, give me a land. Give me a land. One land deck. Any land. Oh. Alright. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. In case they do kill our Ignoble, we can at least make sure we get a another creature down. Oh, was there an announcement recently? I thought I saw someone on Spike Stream mentioning Monday. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything, but I also haven't been looking for anything. So might have been a hopeful troll. Could have been. Could have been. Alright, I was gonna say if we find another land, I'm probably going for it. Since we don't, I probably just want to like attack, play second Crusader. In case they have like a what's his name to flash in? Ice Fang Quaddle. day for politics. It really is. I want to just play the Glistener Elf. Let's do that. Instead of playing this other Crusader. This might incentivize them to play something to deal with the Glistener Elf. EOT Ice Fang. It's kind of funny. We went through yesterday and like didn't see a pile deck at all. And then today, 3 out of our 4 matches so far have been pile decks. Do need another land though. Almost. All right, opponent. All I want out of you is for one time, just main phase cast an Omnath. I know I don't ask for that much. But that's what I would like you to do. Just untap, main phase, and Omnath. Unless you're going for like an end turn endurance and then don't Omnath. K command. I did not have K command on my radar there. Binding. My noble. No. It's my noble. You can't have it. These pile decks are getting weirder and weirder, I'm telling you. The last one was running Drown in the Loch. This one's running Kolaghan's Command. Where you're not happy just running like prismatic endings and bolts and whatever else. 5-color pile now. They've not always been 5-color pile. Blood Moon doesn't do anything against them. Well, we've already seen that the Anton was running Magus of the Moon and saw it multiple times against us. There's a Supreme Verdict. Never played black. I mean, you're right, but apparently now, like, Leyline Binding being out means there's no reason not to play black. Dredge is dead, right? Yeah, Dredge is dead. You'll still see people like randomly play it in challenges and stuff, but the deck's not good. No, general. Are they red? It is still red and white. Huh. Nice. Well, I don't know what we died to, but I'm sure they've got it. So. Technically, I should have Vines first, just to, like, make sure the path was clear. Don't you dare say Vapor Snag to me. Opponent aggressively trying to declare Golem as a blocker. Opponent realizing they cannot declare Golem as a blocker. Opponent accepting it. Oh, man. Let's see. Dredge is dead because so many other decks demand Graveyard Hate. Well, Dredge is also dead because they printed Endurance. Like, the main deckable card that can just single-handedly dumpster fire Dredge. Brazen Bar would be the only reasonable card to have here. Oh, that's fair. I just checked meta, and what can I say? I hate it. It's... I don't really know a good way of expressing my feelings regarding the current meta. Like, I wouldn't go as far as saying I hate it, but it feels very, very stale. Like, you're either going to play against a combo deck, and we're just going to say combo in the sense of, like, Living End and Rhinos, and I guess sometimes, like, Breach deck that just has, like, some ungodly consistent win condition that puts you in a position turn 3 to where you likely just can't win the game. Or you're going to play against, like, Crumble to Dust. Yeah. You're going to play against Crumble to Dust. I'm just going to take this other Abundant Growth. Uh, if it's not the combo decks, you're going to play against something like Murktide or Omnath that are just like ridiculously good threats backed up by every good piece of interaction you can get your hands on. And it just feels like you're playing a lot of the same matches over and over again. It's not a land. Oh, we'll get rid of the Vindicate so we don't lose our peat land here. Crumble to dust, man's out here making a statement. He's gonna crumble to dust my peat land. I'm calling it. We can't cast it off that. Can we talk about this lovely combo of Pillar of the Payrunes and Crumble to Dust? The Devoid Battle for Zendikar sorcery. Ice down my land. Banning only Lurrus was the biggest mistake Wizards made all year. Yes. 100% agreed. Like, no reason it should have been only Lurrus. Because you knew other companions were going to immediately just, like, rise up, take advantage. It's really scared of Ink Moth Nexus. All right, what did Kuma say? Heard some people over here complaining about new Goblin Lord being busted and power creep, making Modern even worse. However, I think tribal decks need a push card to be competitive. When was the last time we've seen elves? I mean, I don't think anything about the new Goblin Lord like makes goblins tier 0. I think it's a reasonable card to have around. Wait, why am I being pushed towards Living End? Card deck with Yorion, 2 Chalices, and Endurance in the top 10 card sounds fun. What do I think about Living End? I mean, I think the deck is like terribly boring to play against. Alright, I'm just going to game 3. Not seeing lands is... Ugh. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Living End. But I mean, if I wanted to pick up a deck that I thought would just get like free wins a lot, then Living End would probably be up towards the top of the list. Living End or Charbelcher. Or Rhinos. But honestly, if I was looking for a bunch of free wins, I'd probably just play more Hammer Time. That deck's kind of cracked. Living End is so resilient to hate because it plays the best interaction the format has to offer. That's what's so frustrating about the deck. I mean, I agree. Like, it's a very frustrating deck to play against. And most of it is because there's just no good ways of dealing with it. So, are we going for the turn 2? We got to, right? I'm going to cast the scale up. If the opponent's just like F6 like this, then yeah, we're going for it. But if they weren't, I would want to get down Inkmoth Nexus this turn. And then I could like Grist next turn, save a pump spell. But yeah. Turn 2 kill. We didn't come here to not get turn 2 kills, right? Because Modern is unfun and unfair and unbalanced. And who wants to bet money that our last round opponent goes on a Reddit and makes a post about how Infect is unfair and needs to be banned? Listener Elf needs to go. Well, I guess technically we are 2-1 against 4-color piles. And the one we lost to was due to triple Leyline binding into double Wrenn and 6 and Magus of the Moon. Had Magus of the Moon in both of the games we lost. Infect, Travel, and Storm being good in a format forces people to play a style of Magic that I really love. Wish those decks were better. Yeah, I mean, like, if Living End is all over the place, then you could absolutely just run Storm and, like, body them. You just have to deal with all the other decks that Storm doesn't body. Like, Storm, I would imagine Storm, if Endurance wasn't, like, the most played card in Modern, would be in a good spot right now. And I know that sounds like it doesn't make sense. Like, oh yeah, the reason Storm isn't good is because Endurance is so played. But the reality is, like, Endurance makes up 2 or 3 decks, but those decks are everywhere. All right. Kioma asks, is Endurance all over the place? I guess I haven't seen it. Goldfish says, Endurance is in fact all over the place. The most played creature in Modern. So yes, Endurance is in fact all over the place. All right, throw this back. Oh man. Dude, have you watched this Inkmoth Nexus not move? It just sat there for like 3 straight turns. We're gonna go like this. Maybe we can go like turn 1 Inkmoth, turn 2 Animate hit for 1, turn 3 Animate hit for 5, turn 4 kill. Well, I mean, a lot of these popularity situations are just because of like the decks that play them. think if it's burn, I think I'm gonna have to get a tapped overgrown tomb here. But like subtlety is so popular because Murktide is so popular. And like all the Murktide lists are playing a copy or two. And then like Living In plays it. So it should say like, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's the fourth most played creature, but an average of 2.4 copies. Just like Magus of the Moon is the fifth most played, but only 1.3 copies because it's usually like a one of in sideboards, maybe a two of in some sideboards. All right, so if opponents just got like a very spell heavy hand, we're pretty dead. Yeah, it's just based off like the number of decks that the card shows up in. And it's showing endurance as being in almost a third of decks that are showing up on Goldfish results for modern. Eidolon, no land, pass. Not quite. Reveal, fatal push. All right. So am I just waiting for turn 4, but turn 4 is not even a kill? Or do I just have to accept that like I'm dead to another lightning bolt? I think I have to get in a chip point here. Like I have to make it so that next turn it's lethal with these two mites. Getting that little like opponents casting spells to pop up here. So maybe they don't want to fire off their lightning bolt. Oh, they target me anyway. Bold move, Cotton. Little known fact about Might of Old Kroza. It does not specify if you cast this at sorcery speed. it says if you cast this during your main phase. So you can cast Might at instant speed and get the +4/+4 as long as it is during your main phase and not after you've gone to combat or anything. Now you know. Alright, so I want Finks. I want like endurance just as a body. I want force of vigor for Eidolon. Does Burn usually sideboard nowadays? Not enough. Let's just bring in the Finks. We'll take out Thoughtseize. Pretty light on the burn hate. Kind of keeping this on the back of having multiple threats, little protection. Maybe Goblin Guide finds me a land. All right, 100% expecting my opponent to have a Searing Blaze here, but my hope is just to, like, Goblin Guide finds me a land and I can get Plague Stinger down next turn. And they don't have another good answer to it. Unfortunately, Burn's a pretty bad matchup. And no land. Let's just go ahead and scoop it up. Can't answer the Goblin Guides. Don't have lands for Plague Stinger. They've got open mana. I think if I were going to play more Infect, I'd probably look at like the Sultai builds. I think Blighted Agent is just like an insane card. And the fact that you get access to like both Noble and Ignoble. Where are sideboard Uros? That's a great question. I would love to know that answer as well. I hear it's the best way to beat mono red. All right, what do we got? These one landers. Like, I'm okay keeping a one lander, but it's gotta be a one lander with like a noble or an ignoble. So we keep this and we bottom vines. We're going for like turn 3 Crusader, turn 4 Gem Razor it or something. Or turn 3 Crusader, turn 4 Might, and if I find another, maybe that's what I should have done. I probably should have just bottomed the Gem Razor and said this is a turn 4 kill that our opponent can't interact with as long as we find a third land. Like turn 3 Crusader, turn 4 Might plus kicked vines. That's probably what I should have done. Okay. I can tell you one of these we don't care about. So, Path does literal nothing against this hand. Do end up taking 2 off this Eidolon. Alright, I gotta figure out this Gem Razor Ink Moth interaction. I'm assuming that, like, it just goes back to being a land as normal. But maybe it depends on, like, where you... Alright, so let's mutate Gem Razor. I'll put it over. Kill that. Mutate is such a weird mechanic. We're going to give the Eidolon indestructible. Touche. Well, I'm going to crack in there anyway. Why would you give it? Oh, I guess because it's got infect and it would die. Sure. It's like, why would you give it indestructible and then not block with it? Duh. All right, well, now we've got Might through a blocker, so... I really want to see them not play a land here, so I don't... Or no, even if they play a land, then I know 2 of their 3s. So I don't have to worry about, like, triple bolt. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the most they can do to me right here. I guess they're just going for the assumption that I don't have anything. Three and 2. Ashing with green black infect. Alright. What do we think about that league? Seeing 4 color 3 times is rough. I think my inexperience with the deck definitely showed up against 4 color. Like, well, a combination of inexperience with the deck and not knowing what current 4 color builds are looking like. Like, against the first opponent, we should have kept in Gem Razors more than likely. And I didn't, because I just didn't think about, like, Leyline Binding being that big of a card. Then obviously game 2 we got punished with just like triple binding. So Gem Razor or Force of Vigor could have been an upgrade there. Or like not bringing in Veil of Summer because I didn't think the black part or the counter spell was relevant. And then we saw like Drown in the Lock and Kolaghan's Command and stuff like that out of 4 color. So probably a little better to leave those in. Definitely think I want a 22nd land in here. We got stuck on 1 quite a few times. But again, I think I would rather play one of the Sultai versions with Blighted Agent over Plague Stinger. Again, because you get like the 4 nobles and the 4 ignobles. And those are just like such a huge piece for getting your mana accelerated. Just like guaranteeing you can hit those turn 2 Crusaders more often. But otherwise, deck was fun. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And it looked like it had some good game against the 4 colored piles, especially with the Crusaders.